People think life changes when opportunity arrives. A promotion, a lucky break, the right person believing in you. But sometimes, life changes because everyone else walks away. Tonight's story begins with a building nobody wanted. An abandoned repair garage, broken windows, water damage, dust, rust. The kind of place people drive past without slowing down. The kind of place powerful people describe using one dangerous word: worthless. But what happens when one struggling father sees something nobody else can see? What happens when a man carrying loss, responsibility, and a promise he refuses to break looks at failure and sees possibility? Because 6 months after a wealthy CEO sold an old garage for almost nothing, people from 3 different states would travel to stand inside that same building. Not because of money, not because of luck, because of what learning built, because of what difficult seasons created, because hidden value changes everything. This is not a story about revenge. This is a story about quiet strength, about hope in dark seasons, about resilience through education, about seeds planted long before people notice them growing, about a father trying to survive who accidentally discovers purpose. And if you've ever felt overlooked, underestimated, pushed aside, or forced to rebuild life after losing something important, stay with this story until the end. Because what Ethan Vale discovers inside an abandoned garage might change the way you look at your own difficult season. Because sometimes people stop looking too early. And sometimes that's exactly where life hides opportunity. This is Life-Changing Stories. Stories about hope. Stories about strength. Stories about ordinary people building extraordinary futures. And tonight, one forgotten building is about to change everything. People think life changes when something big happens: a promotion, a lottery ticket, a lucky break. But most lives do not change that way. Most lives change quietly. One decision, one hard season, one moment when somebody chooses to keep going while everyone else decides to stop looking. On a freezing Tuesday morning outside Kansas City, a wealthy CEO sold an abandoned repair garage for $1,200. $1,200. That was the number. The number attached to a building people described using words like useless, condemned, dead space, a liability. The woman selling it never bothered hiding what she thought, and the man buying it never bothered correcting her. 6 months later, people would drive from 3 different states to stand inside that same building. Not because of what it looked like, because of what it became. But to understand that story, you have to understand Ethan Vale. Because people rarely see value clearly, especially when life hides it beneath difficult seasons. Ethan Vale was 34 years old, tall, lean, quiet. The kind of quiet people mistake for uncertainty. Dark brown hair, work boots worn enough to tell stories, hands carrying small scars collected over years of fixing machines other people gave up on. He lived outside Kansas City in a rented duplex that needed repairs the landlord kept promising to make. The kitchen faucet leaked. The hallway light flickered. Winter winds slipped through the window frames every January. But Ethan never complained. Not because life was easy, because complaining never fixed anything. His daughter Lily sat at the kitchen table every morning before school. 9 years old, dark blonde hair, thoughtful eyes. The kind of child who asked questions adults sometimes struggled to answer. Especially hard questions. Especially important questions. Dad, yeah, do you think broken things know they're broken? Tuesday morning, 6:08 a.m. Coffee steaming, snow outside, school backpack resting beside the table. Ethan looked up from tightening the screws on the old toaster he had repaired 3 times already. Depends. On what? Depends who's looking at it. Lily thought about that. She always thought carefully. Her mother used to say that 3 years earlier, before illness, before hospital rooms, before life rearranged itself. Lily's mother, Claire Vale, taught vocational education, engineering basics, practical design, problem solving. She believed learning mattered more than talent. She believed discipline mattered more than confidence. Most importantly, she believed people quit looking too soon. When Lily was 6, Claire gave her a notebook, blue cover, small enough to fit inside a backpack. On the first page, she wrote, "Value hides where impatient people stop looking." Lily still carried it. Every day, even now, especially now. "Dad." "Yeah." "Do adults stop learning?" Ethan smiled quietly. Small smile. Real smile. The kind difficult seasons do not take away. Some do. Why? Because learning gets uncomfortable. That's bad. Little bad. No. Tiny pause. Big bad. Ethan smiled again. Gone quickly. Always. 7 months earlier, Ethan worked industrial equipment restoration, precision systems, mechanical recovery, technical diagnostics. Not glamorous work. Not flashy. Important work. The kind people notice only when something stops working. He liked it, not because of money, because difficult things made sense. Machines followed rules. People sometimes didn't. The company changed ownership. Corporate restructuring. Budget adjustments. Efficiency optimization. The usual language companies use when people disappear from payroll systems. Ethan lost his job on a Thursday, 11:42 p.m. email notification. No meeting, no warning, no explanation that mattered. Lily slept down the hallway. He sat alone at the kitchen table, phone screen glowing. Silence. Heavy silence. Dangerous silence. People think difficult moments arrive loudly. Most don't. Most arrive quietly, like winter. Slow enough, people do not notice until everything feels cold. The next morning, Ethan started making lists. Expenses, skills, possibilities, no anger, no bitterness, only movement. His mother taught him that. Margaret Vale, single mother, technical education instructor, worked 32 years helping people rebuild careers after layoffs. Hard woman, kind woman, smart enough to know life rarely rewards waiting. She used to say, "Nobody owes you opportunity." Then she'd smile, just slightly, and that's good. Ethan worked wherever work existed. Equipment repairs, contract maintenance, warehouse systems, troubleshooting, late-night diagnostics, temporary jobs, cold jobs, necessary jobs. Every extra dollar saved, slowly, carefully, methodically, like restoring something damaged. $18,000. That was what he built after 7 months. Not enough to buy safety, enough to buy possibility. Most people never understand the difference. 3 weeks later, he heard about the garage. Iron Creek Service Garage, Northeast Industrial District. Old building, bad roof, dead electrical, abandoned 12 years. Owned now by Holloway Urban Development. CEO, Vanessa Holloway, 41, sharp, efficient, brilliant, the kind of person newspapers call visionary. The kind of person difficult people sometimes become after too much success arrives too quickly. The rumor said she wanted it gone. Fast, cheap, immediately. Ethan drove there alone. Temperature, 22 degrees. Gray sky, wind moving sideways across empty industrial streets. The garage sat near an intersection most people ignored. Weathered walls, rust stains, broken windows. Dead building. Dead buildings tell stories. If somebody knows how to listen. Ethan sat inside his truck, engine running quietly. Heat barely working. He watched. 5 minutes, 10, 15. Most people would have seen a collapsing structure. Problem, liability, waste. Ethan noticed different things. Road access, freight movement, industrial traffic patterns, development expansion. Future infrastructure possibilities, opportunity. Not because he was smarter, because he learned to keep looking longer. Then something else caught his attention. Near the side entrance, partially hidden behind dust-covered shelving visible through broken glass. Large containers, industrial storage crates, old, forgotten, untouched. The dangerous thing about forgotten things is sometimes they stay valuable. People simply stop noticing. Snow moved across the windshield, quiet, steady, cold. Ethan reached toward the passenger seat, opened Lily's notebook. The one Claire started years earlier. Blue cover, worn edges. First page, still there. Value hides where impatient people stop looking. He stared at the words, longer than usual, then looked back toward the garage. Something about the building felt wrong. Not bad, wrong. Like a puzzle piece sitting slightly out of place. And Ethan Vale had always been the kind of man who kept looking, even after everyone else stopped. Most people believe opportunities look obvious, clean, safe, predictable. They imagine success arrives wearing confidence, sharp edges, perfect timing. But real opportunity rarely looks impressive. Sometimes it leaks through broken ceilings. Sometimes it hides behind rust. And sometimes people walk away from valuable things because valuable things ask uncomfortable questions. The next morning, Ethan Vale drove back to Iron Creek Service Garage. Temperature, 19 degrees. Wind cutting hard across the industrial district outside Kansas City. The kind of cold that made old buildings feel older. He parked across the street, truck heater running, coffee cooling beside him, notebook open. Lily's blue notebook, Claire's handwriting still waiting quietly on the first page. Value hides where impatient people stop looking. People often imagine courage as something loud, big speeches, big risks, big moments. But courage usually starts much smaller. One extra look, one more question, one decision to stay curious longer than everyone else. Ethan stepped out. Cold air hit immediately. Iron Creek Service Garage looked worse in daylight. Far worse. Roof damage. Cracked concrete. Windows boarded badly. Paint faded almost completely away. The old service sign leaned sideways. Iron Creek Service Garage. Only half the letters still visible. The building carried the feeling abandoned places collect. Silence. Dust. Forgotten years. A security truck sat near the side entrance. A man in his 60s leaned beside it, heavy jacket, coffee cup, watching. Building's closed, he called. I know. You interested? Maybe. The man laughed quietly, not cruel. Just surprised. Nobody's interested. Someone owns it. Corporate owns everything. Different thing. The older man studied Ethan carefully. Longer than necessary. You engineer? No. Contractor? No. Developer? No. Then what are you doing here? Ethan looked toward the garage. Wind moved loose plastic across the parking lot. Old paper rolled near cracked pavement. Industrial traffic passed 2 streets away. Movement. Future movement. Growth. What happened here? Ethan asked. The older man leaned quietly against the truck. Used to stay busy. How long ago? Long enough. Silence. Then, garage closed 12 years back. What changed? People moved on. Dangerous answer. People moved on. Most valuable things disappear because people move on too quickly. Name's Carl, the older man said. Ethan. You buying? Thinking. Carl looked genuinely confused. About this? Maybe. No offense. None taken. But this place isn't worth saving. Silence. Cold wind. Industrial trucks moving somewhere farther east. Ethan said nothing, because sometimes people reveal information when silence stays long enough. Carl folded his arms. Company wants it gone. Company. Holloway Urban Development. Vanessa Holloway. Yeah. You know her? No. You should. Why? She wins. Short answer. Dangerous answer. People who win long enough sometimes forget how differently other people survive. 2 hours later, Ethan sat inside Holloway Urban Development. Modern office. Glass walls. Clean lines. Everything efficient. Intentional. Successful. A woman around 40 sat across from him. Dark blazer. Sharp posture. Focused eyes. Vanessa Holloway, CEO, 41. Built her company fast. Commercial redevelopment. Industrial revitalization. Urban acquisition projects. Smart. Disciplined. Respected. Dangerous combination. She reviewed paperwork quietly, then looked up. You want Iron Creek? Possibly. Silence. She studied him carefully. Work jacket. Old boots. No legal team. No investors. No business partner. No presentation. Just Ethan. What exactly do you plan to do with it? Not sure yet. You're spending money without a plan? Learning first. Tiny silence. Interesting silence. People with corporate success often move quickly. People who build slowly sometimes make them uncomfortable. You understand condition reports? Vanessa asked. Read them. Roof replacement. I know. Electrical rebuild. Yeah. Foundation concerns. Read that too. You understand city zoning restrictions. Still learning. Silence again. Longer now. Vanessa leaned back slightly, curious, not impressed, curious. Why this building? She asked. Ethan looked toward office window. Industrial district map mounted nearby. Logistics corridor expansion. New freight route approvals. Manufacturing growth zones. Movement. Future movement. Same pattern he noticed yesterday. Location, Ethan said quietly. Vanessa almost smiled. Almost. Location doesn't fix everything. No. What else? Silence. Dangerous silence. The kind builders keep. The things people ignore. Vanessa folded paperwork. Interesting answer. Strange answer. Potentially expensive answer. This property comes exactly as is. Okay. No warranty. Fine. No liability coverage. Understood. You'll probably lose money. Maybe. You could buy something better. Maybe. Another silence. Longer now. Then. $1,200. Ethan looked up. That's it? That's it. You want it gone. We're redeveloping larger projects. Short answer. Corporate answer. Not wrong. Not complete either. 47 minutes later. Iron Creek Service Garage belonged to Ethan Vale. People think life changes dramatically. It doesn't. Sometimes. Life changes inside conference rooms. Paper signatures. Quiet decisions. Moments nobody celebrates. By sunset, Ethan stood alone inside the garage. Flashlight moving slowly through darkness. Dust floating. Broken shelving. Dead machinery. Forgotten years. The building smelled like oil, rain, old metal, and time. He moved carefully, observing, learning, looking, always looking. Near the rear storage section, something stopped him. Large industrial containers. 5 of them. Dust-covered. Untouched. Labels faded. Almost unreadable. Almost. One label still visible. F.A. Nothing else. Torn away. Missing. Forgotten. Ethan stepped closer. Flashlight shaking slightly. Not fear. Focus. Then something else. Shelving beside the containers. Stacks of old technical binders. Water damaged. Aged. Industrial schematics. Equipment documentation. Records. Forgotten records. The dangerous thing about forgotten things is sometimes they remember value long after people stop seeing it. Cold wind moved softly through broken windows. Silence filled the garage. Heavy silence. Important silence. Ethan stared quietly at the containers. Longer than usual. Something felt wrong. Again. Not bad. Wrong. Like someone walked away before finishing the story. People imagine discovery as something dramatic. A hidden vault. A winning lottery ticket. A moment where music rises. And life changes instantly. Real discovery rarely works that way. Most discoveries arrive quietly. Covered in dust. Buried beneath things people stopped paying attention to years ago. 3 days after buying Iron Creek Service Garage, Ethan Vale returned with work gloves, flashlights, cleaning supplies, a ladder, and Lily, Dad. Yeah. Are we cleaning? She looked slowly around. Broken shelves, old stains, dead fluorescent lights, dust thick enough to hide footprints. Dot or surviving something? Ethan smiled. Small smile. Real smile. Little bit both. No. Tiny pause. Big bit both. Cold January air moved softly through cracks near the roof. Morning sunlight pushed weakly through dirty windows. The garage felt bigger in daylight. Older, too. Like buildings sometimes do. People think abandoned places stay frozen. They don't. Time keeps moving. Even when nobody is watching. Lily pulled Claire's blue notebook from her backpack. The notebook stayed everywhere. School, kitchen, Truck rides. Hard seasons. Especially hard seasons. Question. Okay. Why do people leave things behind? Dangerous question. Children ask dangerous questions. Because children still expect answers to make sense. Ethan lifted a heavy storage box carefully. Lots of reasons. Like, is fear. That's bad. Sometimes. What else? Money. That's worse. Tiny worse. No. Tiny pause. Big worse. Ethan smiled quietly. Gone quickly. Always. The first 2 days changed nothing. Dust. Broken tools. Old paperwork. Water damage. Shelving systems. Storage inventory. Nothing valuable. Nothing exciting. Normal. Which somehow made Ethan pay even closer attention. Because systems tell stories. Patterns tell stories. And Ethan trusted patterns. The garage layout bothered him. Storage space too large. Equipment placement strange. Workflow design inefficient. Industrial people notice those things. People who spend years fixing broken systems. Learn when something feels incomplete. Thursday afternoon. He found it. Rear storage section. Far wall. Covered beneath metal shelving. Faded letters. Almost impossible to read. Falcon Industrial Testing Lab. Lily squinted. What's Falcon? Ethan crouched lower. Ran his hand across faded metal. Dust covered his fingertips. Thinking. Always thinking. Not sure. You know lots of stuff. Not enough stuff. Dad. What? You say that every time. Because it's true. Falcon Industrial Testing Lab. The name stayed with him. That night, after Lily slept, Ethan sat alone at the kitchen table, laptop open, coffee cold, winter wind touching windows softly. Search results loaded slowly. Falcon Industrial Testing Lab. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Third search. Old archived manufacturing database. One result. 1,994. Small Industrial Research Company. Kansas City region. Prototype development. Mechanical efficiency systems. Testing facility. Closed late 1990s. No additional information. Strange. Very strange. People disappear. Companies disappear. Records usually don't. The dangerous thing about old systems is pieces remain. Even when stories disappear. Friday morning. Snow-covered Kansas City. Gray sky. Sharp wind. Lily sat beside him inside the garage. Homework open. Notebook nearby. Dad. Yeah. Question. Okay. Why are old companies important? Ethan pulled another damaged binder from storage shelving. Because now he kept finding them. Technical documents. Engineering notes. Testing reports. Not treasure. Not money. Something better. Knowledge. Forgotten knowledge. Old companies matter. He opened another folder. Industrial performance analysis. Mechanical load studies. Prototype energy transfer systems. Strange. Very strange. Because people build new things using old lessons. Lily wrote immediately. Word for word. Like Claire. Always like Claire. Ethan opened another storage cabinet. Water damaged. Mostly empty. Except one box. Heavy. Very heavy. Inside. Data drives. Engineering binders. Technical diagrams. Testing records. More Falcon material. Much more. Not random paperwork. Systems. Processes. Research. Years of work. Forgotten. Completely forgotten. The dangerous thing about impatient people is they stop looking too early. Claire taught that. Margaret taught that. Life taught that. Dad. Yeah. Why didn't anyone take this stuff? Silence. Cold air moving quietly near broken windows. Dust floating through weak sunlight. Dangerous silence. Good silence. Thinking silence. Maybe they didn't know. That's sad. Little sad. No. Tiny pause. Big sad. Ethan smiled quietly. But something else lived beneath the smile now. Curiosity. Real curiosity. Saturday afternoon, someone unexpected walked into Iron Creek Service Garage. Older man. Gray coat. 70 maybe. Sharp eyes, careful movement. The kind people carry after years building difficult things. You, Ethan Vale? Yeah. The older man looked slowly around. Dust, storage containers, binders, shelving. Then toward Ethan. You bought this place? Yeah. Long silence. Dangerous silence. The man stepped closer. Voice quieter now. Do me a favor. What? Tell me you haven't thrown anything away. Cold air moved softly through broken windows. Lily looked up immediately. Ethan stayed still, watching. Learning. Always learning. Who are you? Ethan asked. The older man looked toward faded falcon lettering near the back wall. Longer than necessary, like people do, when memories arrive before words. Then finally, my name's Leonard Briggs. Small pause. I helped build this place. Silence. Heavy silence. The kind silence that changes stories. The kind silence builders recognize. Outside, snow drifted quietly across Kansas City. Inside Iron Creek Service Garage, something forgotten had finally started remembering itself. People love comeback stories. People love endings. The breakthrough, the headline, the moment success becomes visible. What people rarely love is the middle. The slow season. The uncertain season. The season where nobody claps, nobody believes, nobody knows whether hard work will matter. That season changes people, or breaks them. 3 days after Leonard Briggs walked into Iron Creek Service Garage, Ethan Vale stopped thinking about what Falcon Industrial Testing Lab used to be. He started thinking about what it could become. That sounded inspiring. It wasn't. It was exhausting. Because possibility creates work. Real work. Difficult work. The kind nobody films. The kind nobody celebrates. Dad. Yeah. Question. Saturday morning, 6:17 a.m. Coffee. Cold weather. Storage binders spread across folding tables. Lily sat beside him. Claire's blue notebook open. Always open. Question. She repeated. Okay. Why do hard things take so long? Dangerous question. Children ask dangerous questions. Ethan looked toward old Falcon technical documents, engineering notes, testing diagrams, prototype research. Pages most people would have thrown away. We learn slowly, Ethan said. That's annoying. Little annoying. No. Tiny pause. Big annoying. Ethan smiled. Very slightly. Gone quickly. Always. Leonard Briggs arrived 20 minutes later. Gray jacket. Old pickup truck. Coffee. Always coffee. People who survive difficult careers trust coffee. And patience. Mostly coffee. Leonard spent 22 years inside Falcon Industrial Testing Lab. Not ownership, not management, systems development, mechanical testing, adaptive industrial performance research. People think Falcon failed, Leonard said quietly. They didn't? No. Then what happened? Leonard studied old storage containers silently. Long silence. Memory silence. The world moved faster than Falcon could. Dangerous answer. Because good ideas fail all the time. Not because they're wrong, because timing matters, funding matters, people matter. Falcon designed industrial optimization systems decades before small manufacturers wanted them. Energy efficiency, equipment recovery systems, diagnostic improvement tools, adaptive mechanical analysis. Useful, valuable, too early, years too early. They built solutions nobody was asking for yet. Leonard said. Ethan stayed quiet, thinking, always thinking. The dangerous thing about learning is, eventually, you start connecting ideas other people miss. 3 weeks passed, then 4. Winter deepened. Money tightened. Again. Roof repairs, electrical permits, building code requirements, insurance documentation, licensing applications. Legal reviews. Everything cost money. More money. Always more money. Ethan worked contract repair jobs during the day. Garage cleanup nights. Paperwork weekends. Sleep became smaller. Coffee became bigger. Dad? Yeah. Question. Tuesday night. 11:11 p.m. Kitchen table, financial documents, repair estimates, invoices. Lily sat nearby. Homework done. Notebook open. Always open. Question. Okay. Why don't people quit? Dangerous question. Very dangerous question. Ethan leaned back slowly. Tired. Very tired. The kind tired difficult seasons create. Some people do. Not you. No. Why? Silence. Long silence. Wind touched windows softly. Winter outside. Bills inside. Life. Real life. Finally. Because some things matter more than comfort. Lily wrote immediately, word for word. Like Claire. Always like Claire. The dangerous thing about children is they remember who people become during difficult seasons. February arrived harder. Savings shrinking. Unexpected repair costs. More paperwork. More delays. Leonard noticed. Immediately. You're worried. No. Dangerous lie. I'm fine. Dangerous lie. Ethan folded permit paperwork slowly. Too slowly. Cash flow? Manageable. Dangerous answer. Small silence. Then Leonard sat down quietly. Listened carefully. Ethan looked up. You know why Falcon failed? No. They built solutions. Silence. But forgot people. Long silence. Don't build systems. Another silence. Build opportunity. Dangerous advice. Good advice. Life-changing advice. The dangerous thing about wisdom is sometimes it sounds too simple. That night, Ethan walked slowly through Iron Creek service garage. Roof repaired now. Electrical systems improving. Storage organized. Documents digitized. Progress. Tiny progress. Important progress. Near the old Falcon binders, he stopped. Thinking. Again. Always thinking. Opportunity. Not systems. Opportunity. The next morning, he changed everything. No longer rebuilding old concepts. Building something new. Industrial equipment recovery. Small manufacturer support. Technical diagnostics. Equipment optimization. Affordable services smaller businesses couldn't access. Not giant corporations. People like him. People overlooked. People rebuilding. People learning. From survival to purpose. Hope in difficult seasons. Strength built quietly. Dad. Saturday afternoon. Lily standing beside newly installed shelving. Yeah. Question. Okay. Why do people help other people? Dangerous question. Beautiful question. Ethan looked toward Leonard, installing equipment mounts. 70 years old. Still showing up. Still teaching. Still building. Then quietly. Because somebody helped them once. Lily wrote slowly. Word for word. Always. 3 days later, the phone rang. Unknown number. Kansas City area code. Ethan answered. Hello. Silence. Then, Mr. Vale? Yeah. My name is Rebecca Sloan. Pause. We heard about what you're building. Silence. Dangerous silence. Good silence. We'd like to meet. Cold February sunlight moved quietly across Iron Creek service garage. Outside, winter still held everything tightly. Inside, something had finally started moving. People think success changes people. Money, recognition, growth. Sometimes it does, but real growth changes something deeper. Perspective, the ability to see value where other people once saw nothing. The ability to remember difficult seasons after life becomes easier. 3 months after Rebecca Sloan called Iron Creek Service Garage, people started saying Ethan Vale's name differently. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. The way people talk when something unexpected keeps happening. Small manufacturers started calling. Equipment recovery contracts. Diagnostic support. System optimization. Repair consulting. Not giant projects. Not million-dollar deals. Something better. Momentum. Slow. Steady. Real. The dangerous thing about useful work is eventually people talk. Dad. Yeah. Question. Tuesday morning. 6:04 a.m. Coffee. Notebook. Rain outside. Spring finally arriving outside Kansas City. Lily sat at the kitchen table. Homework finished. Blue notebook open. Always open. Question. Okay. Why do people change their minds? Dangerous question. Children ask dangerous questions. Ethan folded service paperwork quietly. Sometimes people learn. Slow? Sometimes. Very slow? Sometimes very slow. Tiny smile. Lily wrote immediately. Always writing. Always learning. Like Claire. Always like Claire. Rebecca Sloan visited Iron Creek again 2 days later. President. Sloan. Regional Manufacturing Group. 48. Sharp. Practical. The kind of person who respected preparation, not presentations. She stood quietly near the old Falcon storage section. Now organized, cataloged, protected, history preserved, future built beside it. You built all this in 4 months? Rebecca asked. Not alone. Still. Silence. Dangerous silence. Good silence. She looked slowly around. Equipment analysis stations, technical recovery systems, training space, industrial support planning, purpose. Not just business. Purpose. You know what your biggest advantage is? Rebecca asked. No. You understand smaller companies. Ethan stayed quiet, thinking, always thinking. You understand rebuilding. Long silence. You built something people actually need. The dangerous thing about hard seasons is they teach lessons. Easy seasons never can. 6 weeks later, Iron Creek officially changed names. New sign, new systems, new future. Vale Industrial Recovery Solutions. Lily stared at it from the truck. Longer than usual. You made a company. Little company. No. Tiny pause. Big company. Ethan smiled quietly. Very slightly. Gone quickly. Always. Then something unexpected happened. Wednesday afternoon. 2:42 p.m. Black SUV. Corporate plates. Professional driver. Clean suit. Clean shoes. Different world. Very different world. Vanessa Holloway stepped out slowly. Wind moved softly across the parking lot. Spring sunlight reflecting across newly repaired windows. The garage looked different now. Cleaner. Alive. Purpose changes places. People, too. Lily noticed first. Dad. Yeah. Fancy car. Dangerous observation. No. Tiny pause. Very dangerous observation. Ethan smiled quietly. Then looked toward the parking lot. Vanessa Holloway stood beside the entrance. Professional. Controlled. Sharp. Same person. Different expression. People think powerful moments arrive dramatically. Most don't. Most arrive quietly. Inside silence. Inside realization. Inside perspective. Vanessa stepped inside. Stopped immediately. Long silence. Longer than necessary. Workstations. Systems. Equipment. Training area. Documentation center. Technicians working. People learning. Movement. Growth. Not huge. Not flashy. Real. What happened here? Vanessa asked quietly. Dangerous question. Because sometimes people ask questions they already know answers to. Ethan folded paperwork carefully. Too carefully. We built. Silence. Long silence. She walked slowly toward old Falcon materials. Protected now. Cataloged. Preserved. Respectfully preserved. You kept all this. Yeah. Why? Dangerous question. Beautiful question. Ethan looked toward storage binders. Toward Leonard, helping train 2 younger technicians. Toward Lily, homework open beside Claire's notebook. Toward years. Hard years. Learning years. Then quietly, people built it. Silence. Heavy silence. Good silence. The kind difficult seasons teach. Vanessa looked slowly around. Again. Longer now. Thinking. Really thinking. The dangerous thing about success is sometimes it teaches people to move too fast. I thought this place was finished, Vanessa said quietly. No. I thought value was gone. No. Another silence. Longer. Dangerous. Then Ethan said softly, People confuse damage with useless. Wind moved softly outside. Rain clouds gathering farther west. Spring changing weather again. Vanessa looked toward the old Falcon section, then toward new systems, old lessons, new purpose. Finally, I got this wrong. Dangerous words. Powerful words. Not everyone learns how to say them. Ethan stayed quiet. People deserve space during difficult truths. I saw repair costs, Vanessa said. I saw risk. Silence. I saw numbers. Long silence. Then Ethan answered quietly. I saw possibility. No anger. No revenge. No victory speech. Because builders think differently. Real builders don't waste energy proving people wrong. They build and let time explain. 22 minutes later, Vanessa Holloway walked slowly toward her SUV. Stopped. Turned back. One final question. What happens next? Dangerous question. Beautiful question. Ethan looked toward Iron Creek, toward learning, toward rebuilding, toward Lily, toward Claire's notebook. Then quietly, we help people build longer. Spring wind moved softly across Kansas City. And for the first time, Vanessa Holloway finally understood something difficult seasons teach quietly. Some buildings become businesses. Some businesses become purpose. And purpose changes everything. People love stories about success. The company that grew, the business that survived, the person who proved everyone wrong. People love those stories because they feel satisfying, complete, simple. But real life rarely changes because somebody wins. Real life changes because somebody learns. 6 months after Ethan Vale bought Iron Creek Service Garage, people no longer called it abandoned, or forgotten, or broken. Now people called it something different. Opportunity. Kansas City mornings felt warmer in late spring. The cold had finally loosened its grip. Trees carried color again. Windows stayed open longer. Life moved differently when winter ended. Iron Creek moved differently too. Vale Industrial Recovery Solutions. The new sign stood where faded letters once leaned sideways. Not flashy, not expensive. Purpose rarely needs expensive. Purpose needs consistency. 17 employees, 3 apprentices, 2 technical trainees, 1 retired systems engineer who refused to retire completely. Leonard Briggs smiled more now. Still drank too much coffee. Still corrected people when they rushed. Some things survive every season. Dad. Yeah. Question. Friday morning. 6:11 a.m. Kitchen table. Coffee. Notebook. Always notebook. Lily sat beside Claire's old blue journal. The edges look softer now. Years do that. Life does too. Question. Okay. How do people know when they made it? Dangerous question. Children ask dangerous questions, especially when difficult seasons start turning into better seasons. Ethan leaned quietly against the kitchen counter, thinking. Always thinking. Depends. On what? What people wanted. Money? Sometimes. Business? Sometimes. Then what? Long silence. Good silence. Thinking silence. The people around them. Lily wrote immediately. Word for word. Like Claire. Always like Claire. 3 weeks later, something happened. Ethan never expected. Local technical colleges started calling. Manufacturing associations. Workforce development groups. Regional training organizations. Questions. Interest. Opportunity. Not because Vale Industrial Recovery Solutions became famous, because people noticed something unusual. Young workers stayed. Older workers taught. Knowledge moved. Skills moved. People moved forward. The dangerous thing about education is eventually, it changes more than one life. Dad. Tuesday afternoon. Lily sitting inside the training section. Homework open. Claire's notebook nearby. Always nearby. Question. Okay. Why do people teach people things? Dangerous question. Beautiful question. Ethan looked toward Leonard. Teaching calibration systems. Patient. Focused. Still building. Rebecca Sloan walked through the facility beside him. Watching. Learning. People who stay curious. Keep growing. No one builds alone. Ethan said quietly. Lily wrote immediately, word for word, always. 3 months later, Vale Industrial Recovery Solutions launched something new, not bigger, better. The Claire Vale Technical Growth Initiative. Free technical learning workshops, equipment training, career rebuilding support, small manufacturer education, single parents returning to work. People rebuilding life, people learning longer, people refusing to stop growing, hope in difficult seasons, resilience through education, seeds of tomorrow, from survival to purpose. Everything Claire believed, everything Margaret taught, everything difficult seasons built. Opening day arrived quietly, like important things often do. No television crews, no giant celebration, no speeches about success, only people, learning, growing, building. Lily stood near the entrance. 10 years old now, dark blonde hair moving softly in spring wind. Blue notebook held tightly, always tightly. Dad. Yeah. Question. Okay. Was it luck? Dangerous question. The most dangerous question. Because people often mistake difficult work for luck. Ethan looked slowly around Iron Creek. Training stations, recovery systems, people learning, people teaching, people rebuilding. Leonard helping new apprentices. Rebecca talking with small business owners. Movement, purpose, life. Then quietly. No. Then what? Long silence. Spring sunlight moving softly through windows. The kind of silence that deserves honesty. The learning. Lily looked up. Thinking. Always thinking. Learning what? Difficult things. Silence. Longer than everybody else. She wrote slowly. Word for word. Like Claire. Always like Claire. That night, after everyone left, Ethan stayed behind. Alone. Mostly alone. Kansas City lights stretched quietly beyond industrial streets. The old Falcon binders sat preserved inside protected storage. History mattered. Lessons mattered. People mattered. Near the office desk sat Claire's notebook. Blue cover. Worn edges. Years inside paper. Years inside difficult seasons. He opened it carefully. Page 42. Claire's handwriting. Small. Neat. Steady. Teach people how to build. Life will do the rest. Silence. Heavy silence. Beautiful silence. The dangerous thing about difficult seasons is people think survival is the goal. Sometimes survival is only the beginning. Ethan Vale didn't build an empire. Not really. Empires fade. Buildings change. Markets move. Money moves. What Ethan built lasted differently. Knowledge. Opportunity. People. The things difficult seasons teach quietly. Outside. Spring rain touched Kansas City softly. The world moved forward, like it always does. Inside Vale Industrial Recovery Solutions. Lights turned off one room at a time. Training center, workshop, office, hallway, until only one remained. Ethan reached toward the switch, stopped, looked once more toward everything difficult seasons built, then quietly smiled. Small smile, real smile. The kind hard seasons never take away, because people who change their future usually begin the same way. They keep learning. Long after everybody else stops looking. Maybe that's why stories like Ethan Vale stay with people. Not because he built a company, not because he proved someone wrong, not because an abandoned garage became something valuable, but because deep down, people understand what it feels like to wonder if life passed them by. To lose something, to start over, to carry responsibilities nobody sees, to work hard while progress feels invisible. Ethan did not change his future because life suddenly became easier. He changed it because difficult seasons never convinced him to stop learning, to stop building, to stop believing value still existed, even inside broken places. Especially broken places. And maybe tonight, someone watching this needed that reminder. Maybe someone feels behind, forgotten, exhausted. Maybe someone believes difficult seasons already decided their future. If that's you, remember this. People may underestimate your situation. People may misunderstand your struggle. People may walk away too early. Let them. Never let yourself stop looking. Keep learning. Keep building. Keep asking difficult questions. Keep showing up, because opportunity rarely arrives looking valuable. Sometimes, it hides inside hard seasons. Sometimes, it hides inside broken places. Sometimes, it hides inside you. Ethan Vale built something bigger than business. He built opportunity. He built learning. He built tomorrow. But maybe the most important thing he built was proof. Proof that survival is not the ending. Sometimes, survival is where purpose begins. So, tonight, encourage someone rebuilding, teach someone learning, help someone struggling, believe in someone difficult seasons, almost convinced to quit. Plant seeds you may never see grow, because tomorrow belongs to people who keep learning long after everybody else stops looking. This is Life-Changing Stories, where difficult seasons become strength, where hope survives hard times, and where ordinary people quietly change the future.